The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
With so many people living longer, the fear of outliving your money becomes a reality for many of us. Will I be a financial burden? Will I outlive my money? How will I be remembered? My name is Neil Himmelstein, president of Main Street Planning Group. Please contact me by visiting mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. I will introduce you to strategies that will guarantee you will not outlive your money, that can guarantee you will not be a burden on your loved ones. Through a collaborative approach, we will uncover solutions that offer tax-efficient strategies, lifetime income, and legacy planning, choice, organization, direction, and education. That is the code we stand behind. Contact mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. And listen to me every Friday at 3 p.m. as I host the Main Street Code for Financial Success, right here on 103.9 LI News Radio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I'm here every Friday at 3 p.m. And if you miss an episode, you can check out my website at themainstreetcode.com, where I have YouTube videos of all my former episodes, as well as Apple or Spotify. I know my son, as he's traveling across the country in his car, listens to some of my podcasts, which is fun and exciting. And he told me he was listening, and I didn't even realize, and it's really exciting, all the great input I'm getting from everybody. We are an independent general agency, meaning we're like a broker's broker. We have hundreds of brokers across the United States that seek out our advice and our products for life insurance, for annuities, for long-term care and disability. We are solution providers to all these agents, accountants, attorneys, and clients, and people like you that need advice. And that's where we specialize. We're completely agnostic, meaning we don't favor one company over another. We believe that everyone has a unique situation and everyone has a unique solution. And there's no cookie cutters about it. Everybody's unique. The other thing that we do is we help put together your financial team if you don't have one. And if you have one already, you have an accountant, you have an attorney, we like to bring them all together so that we're all working for you, the client, to achieve your goals and what they are. Right now, our phone is ringing off the hook from federal employees and civil service people who are lost their jobs, who are concerned about losing their job. I feel for you guys. I'm out there to help you. It's tremendously disruptive when you're running a family. You or your spouse may be losing their job or have lost their job. And the big thing that we're getting calls about is people don't know what benefits they have and what benefits they don't have. You need to be up on that stuff because you may have insurance through work, let's say life insurance. A lot of it doesn't transfer to you if all of a sudden you don't have a job. All of a sudden you don't have your insurance and you don't have your benefits. And also, if you have any monies in 457 plans or pensions, what happens to that money? And again, how am I going to live moving forward if I'm depending on this income? A lot of people are in a certain situation where they've been in a job for 25 years. They may not know anything else and may have trouble finding another job. So it's a very turbulent and very disturbing time, but it's a good time. It's always a good time to take stock of what you have. It's very important to organize everything you have and figure out what you need. And you don't want to be put in a situation where you're in a panic situation, where many people are, and everything was going along great. All of a sudden my world changed. And that's why we're getting called. All of a sudden my world changed. Now what do I do? So we can help you there. That's very important. It's more important to help you before anything happens, but it is what it is. And I feel for you. It's not easy. I mean, back in the day, long time ago, when I lost a job, it was like right after Christmas, and I was like, holy crap, now what? How am I feeding my family? Unfortunately, I've grown up playing a lot of chess. And right now, you may be feeling like a pawn. You are a pawn when you're working for the federal government or a big company. You're really a pawn, but in your own home, you're the king or the queen. You're controlling the action. You're controlling the income. You're controlling your living situation. Don't be a pawn, be a king or queen, and take control of your situation. And seek us out to go over these things. Very important. Your benefits, your income, your retirement income, it can't be more prevalent than all of a sudden if you lose a job and now what? Particularly your retirement income. We're finding a lot of people are concerned about the market, and they should be. The market goes up and down, it's beyond our control, but once we stop working for a place and we have our retirement all set up in stocks and bonds, we can't really afford a loss. We can't afford a downturn in the market when we're not making income. That's the problem. So a lot of people, including Warren Buffett, who's sitting in all cash right now, or a lot of cash, because he's afraid of turbulence in the market. He's never been in more cash, a higher cash position. That's where the big money is going, some of it. Other big money is controlling the market. So again, do you want to be a pawn or do you want to be a king and a queen and take care of your own house? And that's the deal, is you need to take care of your own house. So we do a lot of fixed income investing in annuities, whether we're creating income streams for the rest of people's lives or a certain period of time, or we're protecting the castle with life insurance or with long-term care. So not only do you need to keep that income flowing, and you need to be conservative and make sure your castle is protected. We want you to be the king and queen of your house and not be the pawn of some corporation or the federal government, if that makes sense. So you want to control the pieces of your board, not somebody else control you as the pawn moving you around. So my point is, give us a call. Let us help you. Let us guide you through this turbulent time. And again, I feel for you. It is not a comfortable time to be put in a position that you never thought you'd be in. But that's the way life is, unfortunately. On the career side is one thing. The health side is a whole other thing. We don't know if from now until a month from now, if our health is going to be the same. And I find this all the time, as we do a lot of underwriting with life insurance. That's what we do in disability insurance and these type of things. Well, every time you go to the doctor, the insurance company wants another report. All of a sudden, you go to this doctor and he says, oh, you got a little high thing over here. Go to this doctor because of this. Okay, all of a sudden you're going to 15 different doctors, and the insurance company who's taking odds on you wants all these different reports. All of a sudden something comes up that you didn't know about, and all of a sudden you're not insurable anymore. So while you're waiting and sitting on the sidelines, and I'll do it tomorrow, and I'm going to wait, we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You must take action on your own life now. I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or 80. You always need to take a stock of where you are and take action to protect your base and or increase your base, increase your income for your lifestyle. It's protect and increase, protect and increase. That's how the big boys do it. That's how you need to do it. I don't care if you're making $20,000 a year or $2 million a year. We help people of all people. It makes no difference. These are things you have to prepare for, and unfortunately, nobody's really prepared for, okay, you're fired, leave your desk, goodbye. Now what? Now what? It's horrible. How do you go home to your family and go, oh, guess what? I lost my job today. Well, now what? Now what? Well, you better take stock of what you have, what benefits you have, and what benefits you're losing. And take stock of where my income's coming from. I can't all of a sudden at age 50 start draining my 457 or IRAs because I'm going to get taxed not only ordinary income tax, like it's my salary, but I'll get 10% penalty as well. You need to structure that money coming out and everything else. If, okay, I'm retired, I'm not doing anything else, but I need my money and this is the only money I can get. There are ways of doing it, and there are ways of not doing it. The ways of doing it can protect you from taxation and keep the money in your pocket, and there's ways of not doing it, which will hurt you financially and your families. And that's very important. You've been listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I'm here every Friday at 3. Best way to get a hold of me, 631-647-4694. We'll be right back after a commercial break. Thank you. Welcome back to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I can be reached at 631-647-4694. Before the break, we were talking about losing your job as a federal employee or civil or anybody, really taking stock of your benefits and really planning out, and now's the time to do it. If you think you're about ready to lose your job or you don't know and you're unsure, you really need to take stock of what you have. You really need to review it. What do I keep? What do I lose? Do I have enough income to move forward? Very important stuff. Another interesting thing happened this week, besides all this chaos going on, and I know it's very unsettling for so many people. It's upsetting the market, upsetting everybody when you have a lot of job movement around. I noticed that the unemployment, you can do a lot of the benefits online now. Used to be you had to wait in line, and you probably have to wait in line. I haven't applied for benefits lately, but I can imagine the unemployment office is now hiring. So there's two lines. There's a line to get into the unemployment, and there's a line, hey, maybe we could use you because we're so overloaded right now with people coming in that they might have some help wanted signs very soon for the unemployed, which is not a good thing. It could be an opportunity for younger people. And I wanted to bring in younger people because I was at a doctor's office this week and I was talking to some technicians who were younger, and I was astonished by, hey, we should have talked to you years ago because we're not educated when we come out of school. I know I wasn't. I wasn't told, I know my kids, I don't think they've ever written a check. I mean, check writing, it seems so basic to me, but they I don't even know if they know how to use a real clock. Some of these people coming out of school, because everything's been digital. I started with a slide rule, and then we had to have calculators at some point. The first calculators when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and it was like, oh my God, here's a calculator. I don't need this slide rule thing anymore. I got a calculator. Now that everything's online, it's on my phone. It's crazy. AI and everything, the world's moving very quickly. But understanding concepts of basic planning and money is just astounding to me. So one of the things I taught my daughter when she was young, and I didn't realize I taught her this, but establishing a banking relationship is important. Getting a debit card. She got a debit card which also had like a Visa attached or whatever it was, or a MasterCard at a big bank. And my daughter, since day one, she'll put it on her credit and immediately pay it off, and she built up her credit. And I didn't realize this, but, her fiancé doesn't have great credit, but he doesn't have the basic skills. Nobody said anything to him. But that very thing has built up her credit incredibly, because that's how she's been doing it. And she takes advantage of points and stuff on her credit card. And I'm not a big advocate of using credit cards, and I personally don't do that. This is what my daughter, and I think my son does it. But they'll pay for it on credit, but they'll pay it right away. So they don't pay any interest. But you get caught with credit card debt. Oh, I want that shiny object over there. Oh, and this is another thing. You have to be careful. Oh, I want to buy that couch. I really don't have the money right now. Oh, look, it's on sale. I'm going to get a 20% discount. Great. Oh, now I don't have to pay for a year. The credit card's 30% interest. So did you save any money buying that couch? No, it's going to cost you more because you didn't have the money to pay for it, even though it's on a 20% discount because you're borrowing the money to pay for it. So for the immediate gratification, you're going to pay a lot more money, no matter how you look at it. So I'm not a big fan of credit cards, and especially now they're taking a lot of the regulations off. They're running at 30%. There's no way you're ever going to get out of credit card debt with 30% interest rates unless you're paying more than the minimum. So please do not get caught up in this thing, and you need to understand how to use credit wisely. It is the worst thing in the world to build up credit card debt. If you could pay for it yourself, pay for it yourself. Credit cards are evil. I hate to say it. Banks don't like me saying it, but it is evil. It's horrible. You get caught up in a trend, and all of a sudden you're taking out another credit card and another credit card. The credit card companies, I hate to say it, don't care. They'll give you credit. Why? Because at 30%, they can afford defaults. It doesn't make a difference. They're making so much money, even in today's rates. If they're borrowing at 4%, they used to be borrowing at 1%. Okay, the bank borrows 1%, and they're charging 30%. Man, what a game! I got to be in this game. This is wrong. I'm on the wrong side of this game. How can banks keep building these beautiful buildings? That's how they do it. They borrow money at 1% and lend it out at 30%. And what happened to banks last year, just as an aside note, is they got caught up into all these mortgages. The ones that were doing all the mortgages at 3% and 2% when rates were stupid low, all of a sudden got caught in a crunch because they're not borrowing at 1% anymore. They're borrowing at 5%. They only need to have 8% reserve for your money. Everybody thinks, oh, the banks are so safe. Oh, I see the big, beautiful building. This is safe. They only hold 8% of your money in reserve. Everything else they borrow and then lend out at ridiculous rates. What a gimmick. I hate to say it's a scam, but it kind of is. And that's what our government is doing. That's what the banks are doing. You're on the wrong end of the game. And in the beginning of the show, I talked about being a pawn. We're pawns. So for you young folks out there, please don't get caught up in it. And if you are, reach out to us. Let's try and help you mitigate what you've done and get on the right path. So credit is a funny thing. Establish credit. Very important. There's ways of establishing credit without borrowing money and getting into crazy debt. Credit cards is not the answer unless you're going to pay it back right away or pay a large sum of it right away. Don't get caught up in this interest game, which you're the loser of. You are definitely a loser when you start building up credit card debt. I suffered it early on. Listen, I was in the same boat. My credit's 300 points better than it once was. 300 points. It took me a lot to get there. A lot. I was in bad straits. But that credit card debt compounds and then gets you in so much trouble. At some point, there's no way you can pay it back, and that's when you panic. So, credit important. Credit card debt, bad. Mortgages, rates are high. People are overpaying. That's going to change. There's a lot of houses in Washington, D.C. right now because all the federal employees got fired. You go on Realtor.com and look in Washington, D.C., they've got like 13, 14 pages of houses. It's unheard of. Unheard of. The real estate bubble is bursting. Think about it. You're coming to Long Island soon. It's going to burst. The prices have gotten higher and higher, interest rates higher and higher. There's not a lot of movement. Mortgage companies been complaining, mortgage brokers, a lot of them left the business. Why? Because you had this bubble. This bubble's about to burst. Be aware of it. Anyhow, so that's credit cards. Secondly, if an employer offers you a 401k, take advantage of the match. Now, what I told my kids, and what I tell a lot of people, and people with money and without money, especially when you're not making that much money, if you have the option, and if you don't, ask. And people don't know this. It's just a mechanical thing. Do a Roth 401k. A Roth 401k works just like a Roth IRA, and you can still get a match just like a 401k, but you're not taking it off your taxes now, but you're not making as much money now as you may in the future, but it all grows tax deferred and you can take it out tax free. So it's a better deal. So when you have a company giving you a match, look at the Roth 401k option. I think it's a fantastic option to get into. People don't know that. It's important. And what's even better is establish a life insurance program while you're young. Because just like a Roth, it grows tax deferred and you could take it out tax free with less government restrictions. Super powerful tool. It's the basis of planning. And the last thing I have to say, you're a young person, you're a hygienist, you're working in a dental office or a medical office, get disability insurance. That protects your income. And you're leaning over all day, you're going to have back problems in the future. It's very important to have this coverage. Nobody else, it's paycheck protection. These are some of the basic tools. Give me a call. I'm out here to help you. MainStreetCode.com, Neil Himmelstein, 631-647-4694. Have a wonderful day and look forward to talking to you.